chosen one. They thought you were weak, didn't they? They mistook your silence for stupidity, your kindness for weakness, your compassion for confusion. But what they didn't know is that you were being sharpened in silence. And now, you're rising with power, and they can't handle it. Sometimes the world will try to place labels on you, labels like too soft, too trusting, or easy to manipulate. They think they've figured you out because you don't move the way they do, talk the way they expect, or respond with the rage they're used to. But chosen ones are never predictable. You walk with a calm storm inside you, a force that can shake kingdoms when awakened. For so long, you've been underestimated, not because you weren't powerful, but because you chose not to prove it. You chose peace over proving, grace over gossip, stillness over chaos, and in a world that runs on ego and control, that made you look naive. But you knew exactly what you were doing. You were moving with divine wisdom, even when they mocked you for it. This script is your reflection. It's your confirmation that you're not crazy, you're not soft, and you're definitely not weak. It's time to uncover the truth about why you were underestimated and how you flipped the script on those who tried to play you. This message from Chosen Destiny is going to awaken something deep inside you. Before we dive in, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Chosen Destiny, and comment below. Have you ever been mistaken for naive, only to surprise everyone with your strength? We want to hear your truth. Your story matters here. When you're quiet in a world that loves noise, people assume you have nothing to say. They think silence is weakness, when in truth, it's wisdom. Chosen ones are often silent not because they're clueless, but because they're calculating, watching, discerning. You saw through people's intentions long before they thought you'd catch on, but instead of reacting, you waited. You allowed them to reveal themselves, and they did, every time. Your silence made them bold. They felt confident mocking you, talking behind your back, or manipulating you, thinking you'd never catch on. But you did, and even then, you didn't respond the way they expected. You didn't explode. You didn't seek revenge. You mastered the art of letting your success speak instead. That's the kind of strength they didn't count on. Think about it. How many times did you sit in a room, fully aware of what was being done to you, yet you stayed calm? That calmness wasn't fear. It was strategy. While they underestimated you, you were gaining clarity. You were preparing. You were becoming. And now, you've flipped the table they tried to seat you at like a servant, and you've taken your rightful place at the head of it. Comment below. Have you ever been silent while someone thought they were playing you? Share your story. We're building a powerful community right here on Chosen Destiny. And don't forget to like this video if you resonate with this truth. People love to test your heart when it's open. They see your kindness and assume it's naivety. But you've learned the hard way. Kindness doesn't mean you're blind. It means you choose love over ego. You choose to uplift instead of tear down. But when they take that for weakness, they forget that even a lamb can become a lion when pushed too far. You've been through moments where you gave more than you received. You listened when no one listened to you. You stood by people who vanished when you needed them. But you didn't regret it. Why? Because every act of kindness reflected your soul, not theirs. And your soul was built by God, not by fear or bitterness. That's what separates you from the rest. It hurt though, didn't it? Being used, being overlooked, being talked about like you didn't matter. And still, you kept showing up. That's real power. That's warrior energy. And now, Those same people who once laughed behind your back, they're watching you rise in confusion, wondering how the person they tried to break is now glowing like gold. Let's get real in the comments. Have you ever felt punished for being kind? How did you deal with it? Your voice matters here. And while you're here, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a message meant for your soul from Chosen Destiny. One of the hardest pills to swallow as a chosen one is realizing people only liked you when they needed you. They showed up for what you had, not who you were. They drained your energy, borrowed your light, and disappeared when your flame flickered. But you didn't stop shining. In fact, you became brighter because of it. Yes, you were used. But what they didn't realize is that every time they tried to break you, they were actually building you. You learned how to set boundaries. You learned how to protect your energy. You realized not everyone deserves access to you. And that realization changed everything. Your circle got smaller, but your peace got bigger. It's a powerful thing to know you've outgrown people who once made you cry. Now when you look at them, there's no hate, just clarity. That's growth. That's what happens when God is working in your life. He removes what you thought you needed so He can give you what you truly deserve. Tell me this in the comments. Have you ever outgrown someone who thought they had you forever? That's not pride. It's protection. Don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear this truth. We're building something real at Chosen Destiny. Have you ever noticed how your mere presence unsettles some people? You don't have to speak. You don't have to brag. Just being you, authentic, real, divinely aligned, makes others squirm. That's because your light exposes their darkness. Your calm challenges their chaos. Your truth unmasks their lies. You've walked into rooms where conversations changed the moment you entered. Not because you're arrogant, but because your energy is pure. Chosen ones carry a frequency that can't be faked, and the insecure can sense it. That's why they gossip. That's why they try to provoke you. It's not about you. It's about how you make them feel about themselves. This spiritual discomfort isn't a curse. It's confirmation. It means you're carrying something powerful, something eternal, something not everyone is ready to receive. So when people distance themselves, misunderstand you, or talk behind your back, don't shrink. Stand tall. You were never meant to blend in. Drop a comment. Have you ever made people uncomfortable just by walking in truth? Let's talk about it. And if this is hitting home, go ahead and like, subscribe, and stay connected to Chosen Destiny. We walk this path together. There was a time you shared your dreams with the wrong people. You opened your heart and told them your vision, your calling, your divine purpose. And what did they do? They laughed, rolled their eyes, whispered behind your back. Some told you directly, you're not being realistic. But even then, something inside you wouldn't let you give up. You remember those moments, don't you? The humiliation, the loneliness, the doubt they tried to plant in your spirit. But God had already spoken over your life. And when the Most High ordains something, man can't cancel it. While they were laughing, you were building. While they were mocking, you were mastering. You turned the pain into purpose. And now, they're watching you rise with awe and confusion. And here's the thing, you never needed their approval. That vision was never theirs to understand. It was planted in you by God, and it was watered by every tear you cried in private. Now that harvest is beginning to show. You didn't need applause, you needed alignment. And now, the very people who mocked you can't stop watching you. Comment below. Have you ever been laughed at for dreaming too big? Share your breakthrough. Someone needs to hear that it's still possible. And if this message touches your heart, like and subscribe to Chosen Destiny, your spiritual home for confirmation and clarity. Let's be honest. People don't know how to interpret nobility anymore. When you speak with integrity, they call it naivety. When you show loyalty, they call it stupidity. But what they fail to understand is your values come from a deeper place. You live by principle, not popularity. You live for purpose, not performance. That's what makes you different. You chose to believe the best in people, not because you were gullible, but because you knew the power of grace. You chose to give chances because you remembered how it felt to be given one. And while others saw that as being too soft, heaven saw it as obedience. The reward? You're now surrounded by divine protection and wisdom most people can't access. Here's the truth they don't tell you. Nobility is dangerous in a corrupted world. It triggers those who thrive on manipulation. It exposes those who wear masks. That's why they came against you. Not because you were weak, but because you represented everything they tried to hide. Let's talk in the comments. Do you struggle with being noble in a world that sees it as weakness? Your voice matters here. And if this resonates, tap like, subscribe, and help grow Chosen Destiny. We are building a kingdom of truth. Ever felt like someone tried to control the narrative about your life? They twisted facts, spread lies, and told half-truths so people would see you through a distorted lens. They were more invested in your downfall than their own healing. But no matter how many stories they spun, truth always finds the light. There were moments where you were misjudged, misunderstood. People formed opinions based on gossip, not reality, and it hurt because you wanted to defend yourself. You wanted to scream, "That's not me." But God whispered, "Let them talk. I'm writing the final chapter." And that's exactly what happened. Because now, the truth is coming out. Your character is speaking louder than their rumors. Your elevation is louder than their lies. And those who believed the worst about you without knowing the real you, they're seeing the glow up they can't explain. That's what divine justice looks like. Drop a comment. Have you ever been wrongly judged or talked about unfairly? This is your space to speak your truth. And don't forget, like this video, subscribe, and continue walking this spiritual journey with us on Chosen Destiny. Every chosen one has scars no one sees. You've cried in silence. You've battled demons no one knew about. You've walked through fires that should have consumed you. And yet, you're still here. Not only that, but you've turned every ounce of pain into power. That's not survival. That's transformation. You didn't just heal, you evolved. And now your wounds are no longer just places of pain. They are portals of purpose. Every heartbreak taught you discernment. Every betrayal taught you boundaries. Every loss taught you value. And now, your life is a living testimony that God can turn any valley into victory. There's a reason why you carry such deep wisdom, why your eyes see things others can't, why your words carry weight. It's because you earned that wisdom through fire. You became the person you needed during your darkest days. And that's why no weapon formed against you can prosper. Tell your story in the comments. How did pain transform you? Someone out there needs to read your resilience. And while you're here, like, subscribe, and stay rooted in this powerful community on Chosen Destiny. Some people don't hate you. They hate that they can't control you. Your light, your spirit, your resilience. It's not something they can manipulate. That's why you became a target. Not because you did anything wrong, but because you refused to be a puppet in their game. Your energy is healing, and healing energy disturbs wounded souls who refuse to grow. So what do? They throw shade. They lie. They isolate you, all to try and dim what they can't understand. But what they didn't know is, you were built for the spotlight of your purpose, and no shade they throw can block God's light on your life. When you walk into a room, people feel it. You don't even have to speak. That's not arrogance. That's anointing. That's what happens when you've been through enough fire to shine from the inside out. And now that you're in your power, they can't figure out how to stop your rise. Comment below. Have you ever felt targeted just for being yourself? Let's support each other in this journey. And if this message stirs your spirit, hit like, subscribe, and walk boldly with us at Chosen Destiny. They didn't expect you to rise again. After all, they counted you out. They thought the betrayal would break you, the rejection would ruin you, and the silence would suffocate you. But Chosen One, you didn't just come back. You came back stronger. You rose from the ashes with fire in your spirit and purpose in your stride. And now, they're the ones uncomfortable. Your comeback disrupted their assumptions. They had created a version of you in their minds, a broken, bitter version. But what they didn't see coming was your evolution. You healed, you forgave, you leveled up. And now that you've reemerged with clarity, confidence, and divine authority, they can't even look you in the eye. It's wild how people can act like they never doubted you once you start winning. But you remember, not to hold grudges, but to recognize who truly stood by you in the valley. Your comeback wasn't just for you. It was confirmation that when God says it's not over, it really isn't. And your success? That's the loudest sermon of all. Share your comeback in the comments. What did you rise from that no one expected? Inspire someone who's still in the middle of their storm. And if this is touching your spirit, like, subscribe, and let's keep rising together on Chosen Destiny. You refused to settle. You held the line when others bent. You kept your integrity while others compromised. And that made them mad. Because you didn't just walk a different path, you challenged theirs without even trying. Your standards exposed their shortcuts. Your discipline exposed their chaos. You weren't judging them. You were just being you. But your consistency, your refusal to play small, your loyalty to your values, it made others feel like they had to measure up. And instead of rising, they tried to pull you down. That's why some people left. That's why others tried to get you to change. They didn't want to grow. They wanted you to shrink. But guess what? You didn't. You chose growth. You chose standards over approval. You chose peace over popularity. And now, you're being elevated by God, not because you're perfect, but because you refuse to settle for less than what He promised you. Tell us in the comments, what's a standard you've refused to lower no matter the pressure? You never know who your story might strengthen. And if this message is for you, smash that like, subscribe, and stay connected with Chosen Destiny, where standards are sacred. You were the one who always showed up, the one who remembered birthdays, checked in during hard times, supported dreams, forgave quickly, and gave endlessly. You gave your time, your energy, your prayers, sometimes to people who never once asked how you were doing. But you didn't keep score. You gave because love is your nature. But over time, you started to realize something. Your presence was expected, not appreciated. Your loyalty was used, not valued. And when you finally pulled back, when you finally chose yourself, they called you selfish. not because you were, but because your absence revealed how much they relied on you. You learned that not everyone deserves access to you. You're not a backup plan. You're not a convenience. You're a divine presence, placed in people's lives for a purpose. And if they can't honor that, it's time to reposition yourself. God is calling you into spaces where your presence is recognized and respected. Have you ever felt taken for granted? Drop a comment and release that weight. Your story has power. And if this resonates, like, subscribe, and never forget your value, chosen one. Here on Chosen Destiny, we know your worth. From a young age, people reacted to you in strange ways. Teachers, family members, friends. Sometimes they envied you, competed with you, or avoided you for reasons you couldn't explain. You were just trying to exist. But spiritually, they felt something in you before you even recognized it yourself. That's because chosen ones carry a presence, a calling, an authority. Even when you were insecure, even when you didn't believe in yourself, that light was already there, and the enemy tried to dim it early through rejection, bullying, emotional trauma, hoping you'd never find out who you really are. But you did. You started awakening. You started asking deeper questions. You began walking differently, speaking differently, seeing differently. And now that you've realized your power, it's over for the enemy's plans, because a chosen one who knows their worth is unstoppable. Did you ever feel spiritually different growing up? Let's talk about it in the comments. You are not alone. And if you're finally stepping into your power, like, subscribe, and stay rooted in purpose with us here at Chosen Destiny. Not every victory needs an announcement. Not every plan needs a crowd. Chosen ones know the power of moving in silence. While others broadcast every step for applause, you've learned to grow privately, because the best moves are made in quiet, and the strongest roots grow in darkness first. You used to share everything, your goals, your blessings, your battles, but experience taught you, not everyone clapping is for you. Some are just close enough to sabotage you. So you stopped announcing. You started showing. Let the fruit speak. Let the results talk. Let your glow testify to what God is doing behind the scenes. Now they're confused. How did you do it? Where did this success come from? How are you glowing up with no one's support? Because God was your source, not people. And when heaven backs your move, you don't need an audience, you need alignment. Do you prefer moving in silence now? Share your experience in the comments. Let's normalize the power of private progress. And if this part of your journey hits home, smash like, subscribe, and keep walking this sacred path with Chosen Destiny. Chosen one. They really thought you were naive. They mistook your heart for weakness, your silence for ignorance, your kindness for submission. But in the end, you showed them who you truly are. A divine force, a spiritual warrior, a walking miracle. Everything they tried to use against you became the fire God used to refine you. You've come too far to look back now. Keep walking in truth. Keep rising in power. Keep protecting your peace and trusting the process. The world is watching, but heaven is celebrating, because the prophecy over your life is unfolding, and no enemy, no betrayal, no gossip can stop what God has started in you. Chosen Destiny is your tribe. This is your place to grow, to heal, to awaken. So make sure you're subscribed. Leave your thoughts in the comments. And if this message blessed you, share it with someone who's walking their own path of power. The world needs your light, chosen one. Never dim it again.